Hello.
Hello and welcome back.
It's Two Girls Drink Beer.
I'm Danielle.
And I'm Stina.
Welcome back or welcome new viewers, listeners. You can
They
listen.
should just listen.
You don't have to watch us.
Yeah, that's fine. You could just have us on in the background. It's all about getting those views and subscribers. So I
Exactly.
don't mind being your background noise. Everybody on social media is doing one thing or another where they're posting their graduation photos, or YouTube is doing like a live graduation. I know Some Good News did a graduation thing. So Danielle and I figured, how can we best honor those graduating this year from whatever it is? Kindergarten, middle school, grammar school, high school, college, PhDs, certifications, all of you. So we're not excluding. The best way to do that is the best way we know how, with beer. Danielle and I are going to be drinking our favorite beers from college. We're going to be sharing advice with you that we received or moments that we had when we graduated. And we'll end with some pieces of advice that we wish we had when we graduated from the things that we did. All right, let's get to it. So I have, my hand, Rolling Rock. So let me tell you something about a good old Rolling Rock. College pour. Contrary to popular belief, I didn't like beer in college.
You didn't? I don't remember that.
No, I tried to, which is why I drank the light stuff. But listen, I think I've become the person that I hate because I would have never looked twice. I would have never sniffed twice at an IPA.
Can I show you what I got?
Yes.
Shown you? Okay, so originally I was going to get a Miller High Life, the champagne of beers, but I needed a very specific can because this is what we used to tailgate with, and I could not find it. So instead, I got a good old-fashioned tall boy of
Tall boy.
Actually, is this a tall boy or a man can? Please comment down below to confirm with us. The mountains are blue, kind of.
Kinda.
So I'm not going to pour this out because why the hell would I do that? And this is what I'm drinking today.
Tall boy? How many ounces are in a tall boy?
Okay, so I actually think this is a man can because the tall boys are like this, 24 ounces.
Oh, perfect. So I have a 12 ounce. I have two. I went about this in the classic Christina fashion. When I could drink alcohol, right?
Mhm.
21. And when I could buy alcohol, right? 21. That's how we're going about this. I was like, what is the cheapest thing that I can get my hands on? And it was always a PBR or a Rolling Rock.
I agree. Actually, one of the reasons why we used to buy these cans specifically was this is what we used to tailgate with because you can easily put this in a backpack and no one's going to know. And instead of buying multiples of them, you were buying just one big one. And then
Yes.
I proceeded to take a picture of the blue mountains at 9 o'clock in the morning and send them to my father and say, Dad, the mountains are blue this morning. And he would say, another gray hair because you're drinking at 9 a.m. What are you doing with your life?
I had one of these last night while I was watching Joker because Joker is already out. And so I had one while I was watching. I forgot to mention that on the snack break. I didn't mention that I had a beer. But I was like, you know what? It's been so long since I've had a Rolling Rock. I'm just going to have one.
Why not?
Come again? I'm going to go into a piece of advice that I got when I graduated from high school. Find what it is that you love to do, then find a way to make money doing it. So when I was in high school, Danielle and I went to high school together, but Danielle graduated a year after I did. But Danielle also had this teacher. I think he taught us world literature. And one of the things that he said, a lot of people wanted to say nice things as we were graduating. And he said, find what it is that you love to do and find a way to make money doing it, because this is how you can essentially be happy. Because a lot of times people do things because they follow the money, or they follow what they think they're supposed to do, or sometimes they follow what they're good at, but sometimes it's the thing that's a little bit more challenging is what you really love to do. So I remember always keeping that in the back of my mind when it came to like my major and the classes that I chose, like when I got to choose electives in college. And that always kind of like, there's a corner pocket of, if my brain was a pool table, one of the corner pockets carries that information.
Good analogy. So the piece of advice I was given before I went to college was from my mother and father. I don't know who told me this, but basically they said, make sure you graduate in 4 years because we're not paying for the 5th year.
My parents said that too.
That being said, I was actually the first person in my family to go to college. Neither my mom or dad went to college. And my mom always invested in my education because she knew how important it was and she wanted to give me the opportunities that she did not have. When she was growing up, she never was pushed to go to college at all. And at the time, I don't want to age my mother here, but she didn't really need to go to college. You could have a career back then without having to have a college degree. Now, different story. My mother loved to learn everything that I was learning. I was an art history major and I would go to art museums a lot of the time for my classes, and she would be like, oh, can I come with you? Oh, that's so interesting. I would tell her all about the art and she was there. She always loved to do everything I did, but yeah, I was told, make sure you graduate in 4 years. And what's interesting, or what's funny rather, is I had one roommate in college who I lived with 7 girls. I've mentioned this definitely before somewhere. And my one roommate was like, guys, let's just fail our last semester so we can do this another year. And we're like, I don't think so.
I think my next piece would be, as a teacher, I go to a lot of graduations, because it's part of my job to go to attend the graduation. And I remember at one of the commencements, I think it was a graduate commencement that I was at, and one of the speakers gave advice to the students, and she had said, take an improv class. For those of you who don't know, I do improv. I'm in a group called Nutty by Nature. I use improv when I write, when I teach. I use it in so many aspects of my life. So my friends who were at the graduation looked over at me and I was like, I tell all my students to take an improv class if they ever get the opportunity. That's how I nail my pitches when I have to think on my feet, when I run out of ideas. That's how I teach if a student asks a question that I haven't prepared for. That's how if there's ever been a situation where I had to plan a meeting and somebody threw something at me that I didn't expect, and I have to kind of brainstorm out loud how we're going to do it, I just say, yes, and we're going to do this. It's the ultimate way to brainstorm and plan. My mantra as a person, Danielle, I've told you this, is prioritize, then improvise. So I make out my to-do list and then there's something that always ends up messing that up. So my priorities are set for the day and then I just yes and my way through a day. When she said that, I could not think of a better task to give a graduate student. For one, it's just a new experience. 2, it gets you out of your comfort zone. And 3, it gets you comfortable with being uncomfortable, because a lot of times people aren't used to acting something out that is just about being silly and not being funny, not really doing anything other than saying yes to the person that you're doing something with and then building on that. It was just nice to hear somebody else say it and think this thing that I'm doing, it's actually really good. And it's been a while since somebody outside of this world has told me that.
My piece of advice is to anyone who has been super stressed. Actually, this is the best piece of advice that I was ever given in college, and now I'm telling you it now. But I would stress myself out so much about any project, any paper, any studying that I was doing, especially during finals time, during my last semester of college. I remember I was so incredibly stressed. And my roommate said to me, I glimpsed your future. You've already graduated. Just get it done. Because I'm that type of person where when I stress, I'm like, oh my God, we should have done this. I should have done that. At one point, I was in the middle of a finals, during finals, I was stressing. And I went downstairs to my roommates and I told them that I thought I was going blind, but really I just had the wrong prescription in my eye and it was a whole big to-do, and they still make fun of me to this day because I'm in the middle of studying and instead of actually studying, I'm crying about how I think I'm going blind and I'm going to die. But really, I'm not going to die. I'm just blowing things out of proportion because that's just the way I operate. I like to think that I'm a rational person, but really pushed to the wall, I'm not.
I'm only rational if somebody else is irrational.
That's the only time?
Yeah. So like if somebody else beats me to it, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, let's plan this out. But I'll look around and I'm like, anybody gonna go crazy first? It's gonna be me.
Final stress is real to everyone who, I mean, at this point you are already graduating, but if you're in the process of final stress, or if you're watching this and you're in the middle of final stress, let me tell you, I don't know who you are, but I have glimpsed your future. You have already graduated. Get it done and you're going to be fine.
It's a longer piece of advice. So either your job is your passion or it funds your passion. So my uncle gave me this piece of advice when I was in grad school or when I was in college and I was graduating. And you could go down two roads. There's either something that you like to do that is just your job. Like that's it. Like you get paid to do this thing every day and it's what you love to do and it's fun. Or you have a job and that funds the thing that you like to do. So maybe you have a hobby. There's no real way to, start making money with that right away. So it becomes a hobby. Maybe it becomes a side hustle. Maybe eventually down the line, it becomes the thing that you really want to do. But the job that you have, you tolerate, but more importantly, you like the job that you have because maybe it's something that you enjoy, but that job is the reason that you get to do the fun thing, the fun passion. And I thought about it and I was like, I never really thought about it that way because when you graduate college and when you graduate high school and you go to college, it's like, great, figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life. Ready, go.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't.
Yeah.
You have to be able to like think about what it is that you want to do. And is it your passion or does it fund your passion?
It's actually interesting you say that because my mom always said, at this point, it doesn't matter what your degree is in as long as you have a degree. Because I feel like, this in marketing.
Unless you're like a nurse.
Yeah, different story. But in a lot of times, it doesn't really matter. It's all about how you present yourself, how you market yourself, and how you market your experiences, your interests, that sort of thing.
And if I may quote my mom used to always say this to me, and I say it to my students because I teach business writing. Resumes and cover letters are things that we go over. And I always tell my students what my mother told me. You don't have to be a marketing major, but you better be able to market yourself and then I added this part. I was like, you're not Bill Gates. Nobody's going to market you for you. You have to do it. So, and as somebody who went from like journalism to like education and like back into the business world and then like back into education, I would never have been able to do that if I wasn't networking and marketing myself within my network.
From art history to fashion, quite a jump there. So I'm with you on that one. You never know where things are going to take you. You just kind of got to go with it.
Yeah. And I think that goes down to, I didn't write this down, but networking in general. Work on your LinkedIn. Sometimes there are like virtual networking events, right? So like go to one and practice your elevator pitch. See if you can be so daring. I mean, that's how we got our jobs. We networked.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to reach out to people.
And because people won't be afraid to reach out to you.
That's true. I have drank a lot of this real quick, and I realized why I like these so much. I'm literally like down to here on this. Yeah.
Oh, I'm about to start my second one now. I forgot that these were screw-off tops. I don't know what they're called.
What was your favorite memory from your undergrad graduation?
I mean, we all took pictures together. That was really nice. I mean, I went down to Philly before quarantine. My friend got engaged. Congratulations, Mary Kate. And I realized that some of the people at that engagement I hadn't seen since I graduated college.
Oh, wow.
And there are some people that I talk about every now and then from memories, and I'm like, oh my God, I haven't seen that person since I graduated high school. Life takes you one way or another, and it's like, that's why I'm grateful for social media. I know a lot of people take breaks from social media, but I'm very grateful because you don't reach out to each other all the time, but you can still check in on each other and like their stuff and congratulate them on things, because they post something and, you want to support them from a distance.
It's interesting when you actually do graduate, because I know I was under the mentality that like nothing's gonna change, like we're still all gonna be best friends and we're all gonna be here, but then sometimes you do just fall out of contact with people.
I think the only other thing that was a happy memory that I had was the book that I received from my aunt and uncle when I graduated college. I forget if I got it for college or high school, but Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
So I got this book and I looked it up, and I people either give it to newborns or they give it to, or graduates. And it's like you read that book to a baby.
Yeah.
And that's like the coolest thing. It's like, I'm going to plant motivation in your brain early.
Yeah.
You know? And so when my friends have kids, which is so weird for me to say that my friends have kids. Oh my God. I am not over that statement yet. Just give me a moment.
That your friends grew a human inside of them and then.
Oh my God. No, I can accept the fact that my friends are pregnant, but like, I just like my friends' kids, and I'm like, what did I just say? How old am I? Where do I come from? Like, I just went to a different planet for a moment. I think we may need to close out because
we've been on this for a very long time.
Otis is like moaning for me to play with him.
I'm like basically done with this. I need to go lay down. All right, on that note,
let's close it out. All right, guys, thank you so much. We hope that our advice helped or inspired. We're sorry that you can't have a graduation tradition in the traditional sense, but you can have one in the virtual sense. We wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. We hope that you will still write and create and build and inspire and motivate in whatever career path you choose. And your two girls are on your side.
You got us.
What was your favorite beer in college? Comment down below.
Oh, I should have gotten a Four Loko. Okay, never mind.
Oh my God.
They're not the same.
Yeah, because they're legal now.